So, what does yoga mean for you?
Well, it's not easy question, but basically I would say it's a way of life, or it's a tool of discovering who I am, and also of self-development, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not easy to summarize this in just 2 sentences.
Okay.
But it's mainly, if I should say something more, I would say yoga is my life. Yeah.
What was the biggest change for you when you have started with yoga?
I've started to feel much better with myself, lesser pain in my body, and most importantly, my mind is much more at peace. So I'm much more in harmony with myself and therefore with the world. Yeah. Therefore, it gets a little bit an addiction. But if I have to have an addiction, then I prefer to have this addiction than others.
Yeah, I understand. Could you mention one asana you feel it's the most beneficial for you?
That's something which I would say shifts depending on in which process my body is and also my mind. But definitely I would say Savasana.
Yeah. You can relax in it.
And because in it without Savasana, an asana session has no sense, no? Because that's the most important moment where you integrate the whole practice in body and mind. So for me, Savasana is the most beneficial for me and everyone, I would say.
And you do Shavasana also without the other asanas, or you just keep it like in whole with after you practice all the preceding asanas and then you do Shavasana?
I do it mostly with the other asanas at the end. Shavasana I just do alone sometimes when I practice yoga nidra.
Okay. How do you perceive your students' progress and how do you think about it?
Well, I enjoy a lot to see it. It's beautiful to see how the bodies start to change and the person itself. And my attitude towards that also changed as I was getting more experience as a teacher. Because in the beginning I was making myself more responsible for it. Yeah. And now I think the main responsible for the how our students advance is the students itself. Yeah. So it's great to see and to give them the tools. And of course you see those who are having a stronger commitment with themselves advance faster and quicker, and it's great. But yeah, I think as a teacher it's important to not take it too personal, to just see you are offering something and anyone takes as much as he can in this moment.
What principles do you use for your eating habits and what are the reasons for it?
Well, my eating habits are quite influenced by the yogic philosophy. When I started with yoga, I was not vegetarian, but now I am. And it somehow became, or I get to it in a gradual way, just sensing it in my body that the consumption of meat was very heavy for my mind and also for my body. So in a very organic way, I would say, I became vegetarian. And lately I'm trying to apply certain principles from Ayurveda. I see. To understand it better and also to like gain a better balance combined with my yogic practice, of course.
I see. So it didn't happen like from one day to the other day, like overnight?
No, I believe that doesn't work for me. I don't know if it works for anyone, but most of the changes are gradual also in nature, I think, unless there is a really huge catastrophe or something like that. No? So I think organic changes, gradual changes are easier for most of us.
Okay. And as you will be one of the teachers taking part of on True Yoga Day, so what do you expect from True Yoga Day?
Well, first of all, I would say one has to be always careful with expectations. So I will try to go there with the beginner's mind. That's what I try to transmit also to the people who come to my seminars. Always open. And of course, I'm looking forward to it because last time it was really inspiring to me. So I hope this time it will be same inspiring. And of course, I'm happy to be part of it because sharing what I do is a beautiful occasion in that True Yoga Day.
I see. And what the participants of True Yoga Day can expect from your class?
I hope they will experience a blissful relaxation and maybe some deep state of meditation.
Okay.
So, yeah, because it's about meditation and relaxing, what I will be teaching.
Okay. When you started to teach, you first started in Spain, so you first taught in Spain, or you started here in Czech Republic?
No, I started to teach in Spain.
Okay. And you see any difference? You perceive any difference between teaching in Spain and teaching here in the Czech Republic?
Yes, I do.
So what are those differences?
Well, the main difference for me is that I'm not teaching in my mother tongue, and that makes a big difference. So, but now it's something quite organic, I would say. Again, it became natural for me to teach in English. And another difference is that I perceive, I don't know why, but I have that feeling that in Czech Republic the people are more attached to their teachers, and in Spain it wasn't so strong. Of course, you always go to a class because you connect somehow with the person who is teaching it, but here I perceive it very strong. Okay. Which is interesting and nice. So, and what others difference I would say. When I arrived, I didn't have the I kind of had a feeling that yoga here was in a more pure state than I perceived it was in Madrid, specifically where I was living. That there was much bigger business around it. And here it's coming as well, but I think it's not that strong yet. So, and the differences between languages, or you started to speak Czech somehow, or? A little. Well, I can say basic things like pozorujeme dech, nádech a výdech, and this kind of things. So when someone comes to my classes, I have international people from all over the world and also some Czech people. I would say 50-50. And sometimes it happens that someone comes, or one of my Czech students brings a friend who has such a good level in English. And then I try to give little words more and more, because I hope that someday I will be able to do it in Czech. And actually in the seminars, Petr, my life partner, translates me. And from hearing the translation so many times, now I'm having a bigger vocabulary, I think. So hopefully soon, maybe next year, I will be able to teach a little in Czech. Okay.
And could you describe Yoga Nidra? Did it teach so often?
Well, it's very delightful experience, and it's done in Savasana, so people lay down on the floor, and the only thing they have to do is to follow the instructions of the instructor, or the tape if they do it with a tape. With time, people can do it by their own when they are familiar with the technique. And it can be many things on the same time. First of all, it's considered to be a relaxation technique, because that's the first effect we experience. But above all, it's a meditation technique, because it brings you into deep meditation. And I like it because it works for many people, and for me as well. Because it uses the nature of mind, which is movement. So you don't need to stop your mind, which is actually impossible to do by will, in my opinion. It just uses the nature of the movement in the mind until the mind naturally opens and cleans. So the mind follows the dynamic object of focus, and then it just changes all the time, and suddenly the mind is so relaxed through it and focused on the same time, but focused on something that it's moving. And that's easy for many people. Okay. Yeah.
And when you say it's like state of meditation, but in Savasana, which we know it's quite hard to stay awake.
Yeah, well, that's one of the obstacles.
So do you have some recommendation how not to fall asleep?
Well, yeah, by choosing the time of the day when you do it. It's quite logical if you do it after lunch or after dinner. The body has all its energy in the digestion, so it's really easy to fall asleep. So that is something what can help is the time. Another thing is to make like a little affirmation to like program your mind to remain awake. And then there is this technique where you have your lower arms, instead of having them extended, the full arm, you have them like facing up. And for some people it works that when they start to fall asleep, this reflex of falling down the lower arm will bring them back.
I see.
Well, these little tools we can use, but sometimes you just need to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not the aim.
Yeah. And last question, do you have any message or invitation for people who wants to come to your class, especially class of Yoga Nidra?
Well, I would tell them to come if they want to listen to their bodies, if they want to open this connection to the inner wisdom the body has, and to work on themselves.
Okay, thank you very much, Carmen.
Thank you too.